coming to you from the mountains and the plains. The only conservative voices brave enough to push back. This is the Conservative Daily Podcast with Joe Altman.
That's what the Second Amendment was designed to do. If you're going to do something to nullify or take away my rights under the Constitution, come get it.
Max McGuire.
When you look at politicians on the left, they need to convince people that they are victims.
A resistance to the resistance. And now your hosts, Joe Altman and Max McGuire.
And welcome back to another edition of the Conservative Daily Podcast. My name is Max McGuire.
And this is Joe Altman.
And Mr. Producer, see if you can turn up Joe's mic a little bit. We're going to be getting to lots of good stuff with Georgia. Last week, Joe wanted to play a video. I wanted to make sure that we wouldn't accidentally dox anyone. So I spent the weekend figuring out how we could do this safely, protecting the channel and getting all of the information out there. And I think I found a way that we can name the names in Georgia without bringing any risk to the channel whatsoever.
Using code. We're going to use code.
No, we're going to say their names. We're going to say their names.
3 fingers.
I don't know what that means, but we're going to say the names, but we're going to use media and social media posts from them to say the names. So we're going to get to that. Before we do, make sure that you hit that share button on Facebook. Make sure you give us a thumbs up, a like. Make sure you comment on YouTube. Make sure you give us a thumbs up. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Hit the bell for notifications. And share the video as well.
Slow down.
Nope.
Let's go through the things that they need to do very quickly, but you got to slow it down because they're like, wait a minute, I got to do this and then this.
They know.
So start with a share. Start there. Hit the share button, right? Truth is always a great thing. And, share it with your friends and family. I got a little bit of a cold.
Yeah. You got that corona.
No corona.
Put on a mask. You better not get me sick.
Oh, yeah.
We're in different locations, so he can't, but he could. Fauci says he can still do it.
Yeah, Fauci said I can do it electronically.
Hundreds of miles are not enough social distancing. Put on the mask. So before we get into this, there was a Trump rally over the weekend, and I took Saturday night off. Every now and then I like to just step back and not just think about politics, spend some time with the family. So I didn't watch the rally. I went back and watched the clips afterwards, and lots of stuff that we would expect, but the mainstream media is running with this, so I wanted to make sure we play it. Go ahead, let's play cut one.
Blueberries, peppers, squash, and cucumbers. Who does cucumbers around here? Because I like cucumbers. I'm the only one. I like cucumbers.
Yeah, I kid you not, there are websites fact-checking him that he's not the only one who likes cucumbers. So that's how the mainstream media is spinning his event in Georgia on Saturday. Just want to play that. Really interesting how they pick that apart.
It's pretty scary when you have people that literally they spend all of their time fact-checking a cucumber and none of their time actually talking about the things that are really important, which is the fraud that's happening across our country. And the fact that they're walking away from it just goes against sensibilities, people. It goes against sensibilities. It goes against truth. What's right is wrong. What's wrong is right. We're talking about 1984, George Orwell. That's what we're talking about right now. That is what's happening right now. It's been predicted. It's happened, and we have to stop it. And they're expecting us to say, I'm going to tell you what they're expecting us to say, all right, we've had enough. We just want peace. We'll just take whatever you give us. We're not going to do it unless you decide to do it, but I'm not going to do it. It's a hill worth dying on for me. So,
yeah, everyone in the comment section saying that I look younger. Yes, I did shave, so that tends to happen. I realized that it wasn't November anymore, so I didn't have an excuse for no shave November any longer. But Joe's going to keep going. Joe's going to bring it into the new year.
Hey, I'm thinking I might actually grow this out. I might grow it, What do you think?
I've seen you with a full beard.
Your full beard.
Your full beard can get weird.
What are you talking about?
I'm not just saying that because it's a rhyme.
What is wrong with you? Yeah, my full beard does not ever get weird. Well, I'm going to send a picture over to Josh so that you guys can tell me if it looks weird.
That's a little weird. So, talking about the beards aside, I want to put this video up again because this is what we're going to start with. And we're going to get to Eric Coomer later. We're going to get to other people who are involved in this deal. We're not going to be able to hit up all the states in one episode. But we want to start with Georgia. And we want to start, well, actually, before we even get into that, this is the latest out of Georgia. Let's go ahead and put up image A. This is a sworn affidavit from a man named Francis Watson. He is an investigator with the Secretary of State's office. And he has said that he has investigated the video that we're about to play, and he found no fraud. Let's go ahead and put up image B, bravo. He said, my investigators have interviewed witnesses and security footage of State Farm Arena between November 3rd and November 4th, 2020. Our investigation discovered that observers and media were not asked to leave. They simply left on their own when they saw one group of workers whose job was only to open envelopes and who had completed the task also leave. Let's go ahead and put up image C, image Charlie. This is incredible. They're saying that they just left on their own accord. Our investigation and review of the entire security footage revealed that there were no mystery ballots that were brought in from an unknown location and hidden under tables, as has been reported by some. Video taken hours before shows the table being brought into the room. That's a typo. Into the room at 8:22 a.m. Nothing was underneath the table. Another typo. Around 10 p.m., with the room full of people, including official monitors and the media, video shows ballots that had already been opened but not counted, placed in the boxes, sealed up, and stored under the table. This was done because employees thought that they were done for the night and were closing up and ready to leave. When the counting continued into later in the night, those boxes were open so the ballots inside could then be counted. And then he says the investigation remains open. He says, I declare under penalty of perjury that the foregoing is true and correct. So it's not often that we get to just find perjury right in front of our noses. We know that people were told to leave. We know that they were told that they were shutting
100%.
down for the night. The media covered it. I'm not even going to spend a whole lot of time showing all the media reports. Let's just put up image D, image Delta. This is from ABC News. Later in the night, Regina Waller, the Fulton County Public Affairs Manager for Elections, told ABC News the election department sent the State Farm Arena absentee ballot counters home at 10:30 p.m., despite earlier intentions to complete processing Tuesday night. That is a public official, the public affairs manager for the county, telling ABC News that they sent the absentee ballot counters home at 10:30. So that is perjury. That is lying to a court. That is 5 years minimum felony.
Yeah, but the problem is that nothing will ever come of it because we don't seem to go after any of our elected officials that actually break the law. We just don't. We don't go after them. We need to, but the law doesn't apply to these people. It doesn't apply to them. It doesn't.
Yeah. It's just, I love where he says that they left on their own accord. All of the challengers, all of the observers, all of the poll watchers just happened to just leave on their own volition.
Yeah, no
one told them to leave. They all just decided to stop. So it wasn't they were unsupervised. It was that everyone who was supposed to be supervising just put up their hands and said, no, thank you. We'll let you just conduct an election fraudulently in secret with no oversight.
No,
I thought that was really funny.
That's the way it's supposed to be. That's the way it's supposed to be. I don't know why you actually would question them because obviously it's all normal.
So this is the video. We'll play a little bit of the video in question, and we played this before. This is the video that was taken from State Farm Arena showing late at night taking the ballots out from under the table. Let's play cut 2.
At about 8 o'clock in the morning, we're going to roll this back and show it to you. There you go. So now they're going to start pulling these ballots out from under this table.
It's in front of another table.
This table, the black one, was placed there by the lady with the blonde braids at about 8:22 a.m. in the morning. So she put that table there. So the same person who's staying behind now, the same person who cleared the place out under the pretense that we're going to stop counting, is the person who put the table there at 8:22 in the morning.
Oh, let's cut it.
I saw.
So we just wanted to reiterate that woman in the blonde braids, who we're about to tell you who she is, and we're going to completely do it in a way that protects ourselves from being accused of doxing. She put the ballots under the table. She put the table there, put the ballots under the table. 100%. Everyone leaves for the night. They pull the ballots out and they start counting them. So when you wanted to show the video, and we'll play that video in a second, I had to figure out a way to do this that protects the channel, doesn't get us taken down. Anyone who doesn't know what doxing is when you take someone who isn't a public figure and you basically out them. You share personally identifiable information about them publicly, and you basically ruin their lives. So if you are a public official, if you are a celebrity, you have no expectation of privacy. People are allowed to say your name all the time. But if you are not, if you're just an average citizen, Facebook, YouTube, all these social platforms say that you can't dox them. You can't just out them, share their personal information, even their name in some cases. Now, if you work for a government, you're supposed to be considered a public official. right? The question is, if you volunteer in official capacity at a location that is open to the public and being videotaped, do you have an expectation of privacy? Do you have an expectation of privacy in that Fulton County counting facility? Some people say yes, unless that person happens to tell us who they are. So once you see a little bit of that string hanging off of the proverbial sweater, you can keep pulling it and unraveling it. So that's what we're going to do right now. We're going to play this. This is from a local Channel 11 news story showing the Fulton County counting facility. Let's go ahead and play cut 3.
Ballot counting will be done here in Fulton County, but as of 7:30, they still had 30,000 ballots according to the county to process. We're told, of course, they're going to go through every single one of those ballots, and once they are done counting them, then the absentee process will be complete.
All right, pay attention.
No ballots.
There's the woman. There's the braids. There's the other woman.
By that water main break early this morning around Fulton County, 99% of the precincts. It was smooth sailing, very few delays, short lines.
Pay attention. It's going to come right at the end.
That is the good news. And now they're on to the counting process, just a little delayed here in Fulton County tonight. Cheryl.
Right there. Do you see it? Anyone see that? It was very, 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 very quick. We got a still frame. Let's put up image 1.
I think she's already been identified. I don't think we have to go through all this stuff.
We have to.
I mean, she literally has already been identified on nearly every podcast and every news station out there.
But we have to protect
ourselves. She even put a video
it's also
up admitting what she did.
This way. It's more fun this way. Trust me. All right. So this is the still frame from that publicly available news report. And you can see that she's there, but she has a bag. And that bag says La Ruby's Unique Treasures. So right there, she is a volunteer sharing information about herself that she is somehow connected to La Ruby's Unique Treasures. So you start doing a deeper dive into that. Let's do image 2. You find that La Ruby's Unique Treasures is run by Ruby Freeman. That is not us doxing her. That is us investigating what La Ruby's Unique Treasures is all about. She says she's the CEO. That's interesting. So when we get to this, you start pulling that piece of string, right? Unraveling the sweater. Let's put up image 3. This is Ruby Freeman's Facebook account. Breaker 19, Lady Ruby on the air. Watch out for President-elect Joe Biden coming at you from all channels of the United States of America. Breaker 19. Is there anybody out there? Breaker 19. Do you have your ears on? Breaker 19. If you see number 45, tell them the stage left and exit. Breaker 19. Lady Ruby is moving up and on. Jesus is King of King. Typo. And Lord of Lord. I guess more typos. Should
Lord
be plural.
of Lords, King of Kings.
well, it should be, it should be kings, lords. So that's her on Facebook sharing a picture of herself, which is fine. She wants to share it. But you can see from this that she's saying that President-elect Joe Biden's coming at you. So we can see that she obviously wants Joe Biden to win. So let's go ahead and this is where we get into the video.
Guys. It's going to get even better.
This is where we get into the video that Joe sent over last Friday. We couldn't share at the time because we couldn't be guaranteed that we protected if we shared her name. This is Ruby Freeman. Now, there's some dispute over whether this is this election or whether it is from the primaries. At the beginning of the video, you can see some boxes of primary ballots. I'm not sure if that means this is from the primary or if they're just storing the ballots as they're required to under federal law. But this is Ruby Freeman showing up to work, and she's giving a box of absentee ballots where it's her job to verify the signatures. Let's play cut 4.
Thing if nose and twirl it 3 times, that ain't gonna happen. So I let them do it. Yeah. Whew. So, hey Dion, what's going on? How are you? Yeah. So, I got a lot of work to do, y'all. So I'm working 7 days a week. But I'm getting it done. I was out for 10 days because I ain't like the way things were going. So I just said, yeah, anywho, I'll see y'all when I see you. But I'm back, ready to work. I'm gonna let y'all see this. Okay, don't say nothing. Listen.
This is unbelievable.
And there she is, inside of the Fulton County election facility. Don't tell anyone. I'm going to show you what you're not supposed to see. Shh, don't tell anyone. Showing us all the different boxes of ballots, all the different envelopes that came in. Now she's going to go to her little cubicle, but not yet. She's going to ask for work first.
Okay. So that's what's going on in Fulton County. Voter registration. Sir, can I have some work? It's been 30 minutes.
30 minutes?
Uh-huh.
That's all you give me.
I ain't going to give you but 5. I come to work, y'all, and they talk about me. Oh, they talk about me. I don't care. Because I told them I didn't want to work. Oh, Dion, thank you. Thank you, love. When I didn't want to work.
So here she's in the cubicle.
I'm back at work. Give me some work. Because I come to
Give me
work.
some work.
Yeah. Thank you, sir. Oh, you're going to give me... Oh, you just gave me one.
And there it
God
is.
bless you real good. Thank
I
you.
want to give you 2. I ain't trying to overwork you.
Signature
Overwork.
verification.
Ain't no such thing. I'm going to be here till 7 o'clock. Okay. Y'all see all this I got to do? I got to do all this. You know,
Signature
all these
verification.
guys are
Hey, did you see the no return address?
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah.
No return
that's-
address.
That's where it gets a little. I don't know if you're required to do return address on that. I've always have whenever I've mailed in ballots when I used to live in Colorado. I've always added my return address. Very interesting that right there's no return address on it. Very, very interesting. So we wanted to play that because the woman being implicated in the late night illegal ballot counting, because that affidavit's a complete lie. They didn't. All the challengers and poll watchers didn't leave on their own accord. They were told to leave. The same woman who who was implicated in that late night ballot counting was also on a previous day responsible for checking signatures in an election where we know the number of actual rejected ballots was at an all-time low. If you sent a ballot in, the odds of it being rejected for a bad signature have never been lower than what we saw this year in Georgia. So
Or in other swing states. Or in
other swing states too. But she was at least one of the people deciding not to spoil ballots. So we wanted to show that because it's part of this bigger piece, right? It's part of the bigger piece of what this woman, Ruby Freeman, was doing, what was responsible for. So we have some more pictures. We have that picture. Anyone who didn't see it, let's go ahead and put up image 4. This is just in case you missed it. Still framed from that video. Ballot signature verification. She got tray count 8387. So when you go through her Facebook page, this is how we're going to connect the dots and be able to share these people's names without anyone saying we're doxing them. If you go ahead and put up image 5, this is straight from Ruby Freeman's Facebook page, and it says, "Look at my baby giving that look to the employees. Mommy is so proud of you. Supervisor of registration." And she's talking about the blonde braided woman. Now, this is fine. You can be a proud mother sharing a picture of your daughter in the newspaper. The problem is that we know that they were coordinating, and they were at least part of that time doing some shady stuff. Now, I've cut this down.
Nothing to see here. Nothing to see here.
I've cut this down, and I'll let you set it up, Joe. This is a video of Shay. Also, she goes by other names, but Shay, Wandrea Shay Moss, and Ruby Freeman, basically talking it over on a table. You can see Wandrea Shay palm something in her hand, and then
this is crazy,
hand
guys.
it to someone.
This is crazy.
All
of this proof doesn't mean anything. They said this isn't proof. None of this is proof. Individually, you can explain that away. Oh, nothing to see here. We should send people home. The fact that there was never a pipe that burst that sent people home from the arena, nope, there's nothing to see here. Oh, it was a mistake. It was an overflowed toilet. This is how crazy it gets.
It changed. It changed in the affidavit. They said it was a urinal. Apparently, you had urinal cakes floating around.
A urinal in a bathroom caused them to, I don't know.
In the early morning hours, a leaky urinal allegedly caused them to send everyone home at 10:30 p.m.
Yeah. This is how crazy it is. They want us to just ignore sensibilities. They want us to ignore the truth, right? They're trying to reprogram everyone on what reality is. It's normal to tell second graders that they can be gay if they want to be gay, or you're not a boy, or you're a girl. That's all normal. It's normal to take God out of your society, God out of the schools, God out of. It's normal to shut down Christmas and shut down Thanksgiving. It's normal. Christian holidays. It's an attack on us as a country. This is the outside now inside our country attacking us. This is crazy. In any trial in America, just one 500,000th of the data that we have, the proof that we have, would be enough for a conviction on a civil court or on a criminal court. Yet we're letting it go. Oh, but we're not.
So before we play this, put up my screen, Mr. Producer. I just want to let everyone know that Ruby Freeman is freaking out. She was supposed to do interviews, and she's no longer doing interviews because she's getting threatening messages. And she's now also allegedly lawyered up, which is a very good idea, Ruby Freeman.
Yeah, because you're going to prison.
Very good idea.
Because you're going to prison.
Very good idea. So let's take off my screen. We're going to play this. I want everyone to watch. Yes, Zach, exactly. Watch Ruby, the frizzy-haired woman. Watch her. She's on the left. Watch her body language. Watch Braids, who we now know is Shay, also goes by Wandrea, apparently. Mm-hmm. Watch her, and then watch the man come in. Watch as he goes, oh, and he stretches. There's a handoff. Let's go ahead and play that. Let's play cut 5. So here we can see Wandrea / Shay. Here's the man walk over. Pay close attention to Braids, her hands. So they're talking about something. You can see that Ruby's shaking her head about something. Now she's nodding. There's some kind of sidebar going on over there. So now watch Braids, watch her right hand. Actually, it might be her left hand. Hands her something. See that? She hands her something. And now here comes the man. Hands in pockets. Talking. Look at the mom. Here's the stretch. The handoff's complete. He takes it, puts it back in her pocket. Look at the mom's body language. She is still as a statue.
It's a fraud. It's a fraud on the American people. That means your voice does not matter. It means nothing about our elections are free and fair. That's what just happened there. And by the way, how many other times did it happen? You know, I'm going to send you a video, Josh, and it's a video of Chris Jacks saying that they will lie, cheat, and steal to take whatever they want this year, right? The guy from Our Revolution. Our Revolution now is across the country. It's a communist organization that has partnered with Antifa, right? It's a big problem. These people are literally coordinated. It's a mob effort. This right here is organized crime. That's what we're seeing right now is organized crime. Right there.
Yeah. It really is incredible. And so we saw Ruby hand something, looked like a flash drive. Some people said it might be a vape pen. Oh no, she handed something to her daughter. Shay also goes by Wandrea apparently. Then we see she palms it. The gentleman walks into frame, pretends to yawn, and as he's yawning, outstretches his hand, takes it, puts it in his pocket, and they walk away. And the whole time, Mommy Ruby
does not move.
Still as a statue. Does not move. Now, a lot of people are saying that gentleman we saw walk into frame, we've seen him before. And I haven't seen concrete evidence that this is the same person, but he looks very similar. So I want to play this. Remember this guy? Let's play cut 6.
I'm wondering what's going on here. This dude has a fit about something.
Getting angry. Ballot counter in Fulton County getting angry at what he's seeing.
Flips off a ballot. And then crumples
Flips it off.
That's not voter fraud. I don't know what is.
So let's cut it. So Fulton County officially claims that it wasn't a ballot, that he crumpled up one of the other pieces of paper that come in the ballots. But that doesn't explain why he gave the ballots the middle finger, why he's seen freaking out, getting really angry with his hands, right? None of that explains that. But we do see him in that video, allegedly him, take possession of a flash drive inside of a secure environment where they're not supposed to have any of that.
Right.
Very, very, very sketchy. So lots of people are saying that we should just cut to the chase, say the names. We have to do this in a way that protects the channel. If you don't like that, I'm sorry. We're going to get through all of it, but
I don't
we're not
like
going to put our channel at risk. Well,
because you know me, I'm willing to fight. I like to fight.
I know, but the war is more important than the battle. We can't fight the war if we lose this battle. If we're taken off the air, we can't come on tomorrow. We can't come on the next day. So we have to do this smart.
Hey, so let's just tell everyone right now, first of all, hit the share button. This is really, really important stuff. Let's break the algorithms for Facebook that are just suppressing us, and on YouTube. Hit the share button. And if you haven't already, it make this a little bit easier. We do have a launch that is happening on the website, so we'll be able to go live there as well. But text freedom to 89517. And before the show, you'll actually get a text message that tells you.
Everyone's saying that today they got 3 text messages. Good job, Josh.
Jiminy Christmas, Josh.
wanted to make sure that they got him. So everyone got 3. Good job. So we have that woman, Wandrea Moss, allegedly, not allegedly, she actually works for the election office. She does not have any expectation of privacy. Let's go ahead and put up image 6. There are actually photographs going around of her where you can see her name tag. And on the bottom, it's blurry, but you can see on the top, it's enhanced to see her name. Wandrea Moss also goes by Shay. So she has no expectation of privacy whatsoever. She works for the government. She was wearing her name tag in an area that was being filmed and photographed. So we can comfortably say that she is Ruby Freeman's daughter, as Ruby Freeman already posted on social media. She is Wandrea, I think, Shay. Strange name, but listen, to each their own. Shay Moss, that is her. So we go back to this image 7. These are the people from that original video. That's Shay, Wandrea, the one pulling out the ballots. You see right next to her is mommy, Ruby Freeman. They were 2 of the people there late at night counting those ballots illegally without any observers, any witnesses present. Big deal. It's a big, big deal. But then we also know that there's another person. Let's put up image 10. We're going to jump up a little bit. There was another person there who we don't know who he is yet.
We do.
We'll tell you in a second.
Yeah.
We do now.
We do now.
We don't know who he is. We know that on the video, he was on his phone multiple times. So after everyone's been sent home, it looked from the video like he was the boss man on his phone. Very curious about who he was calling. But we didn't know who his name was until... Remember Gabriel Sterling we played yesterday, or the day before? He outed him. Let's go ahead and play cut 8. 8.
It's a little odd that you see people going underneath the table, pulling out these ballots once everyone has left the room. Again, you don't have the full context here, but this is where the questions arise. And I think maybe some are wondering, as you say, the cutters had finished all their jobs, they'd opened up all the envelopes, and they left. But why was it that once they left, we again saw this process picking up, and then it was when those ballots from underneath the table were taken out? Would you have an answer to that?
Because the counters thought they were done, and they had packed a bunch of stuff away, and they were putting them away. And then Ralph comes out, who's their boss, and says, no, you got to get back to work again. So they were pretty disappointed about that. So that was where they brought all the stuff in.
So we know his name's Ralph. And we're about to see in a second who specifically is. But it's just...
Let's talk about Ralph.
The lie unraveling. You have Gabriel Sterling. He's the anti-Trumper. And we'll play his deranged rant from the other day. And we'll show some of his Never Trump Facebook posts, which we haven't shown yet on the channel. But he says it's Ralph. It's just interesting to me that the story, according to him, and he's an election official for Georgia, is that poor Ralph was sending people home, realized they had to stay, and they were all so upset. They're all so upset that they get to be one of the 5 people illegally counting ballots late night in Georgia, pulling them out from underneath tablecloth.
And they did a vote, by the way. They did a hand count, and it matched.
Well, that doesn't necessarily mean anything, because once they've illegally entered the ballots into the count, right? Unless you do a full audit, all you get with a recount is just a better count of the fraudulent votes.
Right.
So they're claiming that, those should have been there. There's no reason to doubt why they'd be hiding a bunch of ballots underneath a tablecloth. Well, no, it doesn't work like that. You don't get the benefit of the doubt when you say a leaky urinal. You take that and you trump it up to be a water main burst.
Yeah.
And then you send all of the poll challengers, poll watchers, observers home, right? They're there to make sure that the chain of custody is legitimate. So when you send them home, you lose the benefit of the doubt. You don't deserve the benefit of the doubt when you send them home.
It's fruit of the poisonous tree. The whole election is a sham. I don't know how you can actually have ballots that are counted with no one there, no accountability, and say that there isn't a compromise to the election. I don't know how.
Yeah.
And even the words that Ruby uses, right, and the video of them handing off something to another poll worker, if you look at just how all of that actually intertwines, it's hard not to look at that and go, the election's bunk. You got to get rid of it. We have to revote.
So before we get to Ralph Jones, who is that man in the red shirt, we have to do a brief aside to do a deeper dive into Gabriel Sterling, because we didn't play this the other day. He is obviously anti-Trump. This is from a meltdown of a press conference that he gave the other day. Let's play cut 7.
I can't begin to explain the level of anger I have right now over this. And every American, every Georgian, Republican and Democrat alike, should have that same level of anger.
This guy's a crap bag.
Mr. President, it looks like you likely lost the state of Georgia. We're investigating. There's always a possibility. I get it. And you have the rights to go through the courts. What you don't have the ability to do, and you need to step up and say this, is stop inspiring people to commit potential acts of violence. Someone's going to get hurt. Someone's going to get shot.
Yeah,
someone's going to get killed. And it's not right. It's not right. And y'all, I don't have anything scripted. This is...
Look at how fired up the sign language interpreter is.
I'm going to do my best to keep it together. All of this is wrong. If you want to run for re-election in 4 years, fine, do it. But everything we're seeing right now, there's not a path. Be the bigger man here and step in, tell your supporters, don't be violent.
No, this is going towards a civil war.
All that's wrong. It's un-American.
Sorry. No, what you did is un-American.
I don't
want to
I'm getting angry just sitting here. I'm like, oh, cut it. I'm done listening to the guy.
So we wanted to make sure that we could show that he is very, very anti-Trump, but
in a way that's just unbelievable. It's like Eric Coomer anti-Trump.
And just in case you have any doubts about this man, Gabriel Sterling, about whether or not he supports the president or not, let's put up image 8. Image 8. This is from February 29th of 2016 from Gabriel Sterling. Tomorrow is an important day here in Georgia. I remind you again, regardless of whoever your candidate is, to stop Trump, you need to vote for Marco Rubio. He is the closest to Trump in the polls here. This must be about stopping Trump.
Yeah.
Gabriel Sterling, Facebook post from 2016. But we're not done. Just in case you think maybe he just wanted to stop Trump. He isn't truly never Trump.
It gets worse.
Put up image 9. ... I don't know where the dot. I guess it was the second post. To Clinton by 11 points. Right now, Trump is losing women to Hillary by 23 points. There is no way that deficit can be fixed. Trump cannot win. Therefore, he should not be the GOP nominee. Hashtag never Trump. Gabriel Sterling, public official. No expectation of privacy. Tweeting, Facebook posting back in 2016 that he was hashtag never Trump. Now, he is the election official conducting these investigations, as we told you about at the start, with the affidavit that's provably a lie. So, oh, no, we didn't send anyone home. All of the Republican poll challengers just left on their own. Provably a lie. He's the guy doing the investigations, telling Trump to put on his big boy pants and accept the results, accusing Trump of trying to get people killed because he's fighting to reveal the fraud. just want to make sure we all understand who Gabriel Sterling is. He's a never-Trumper who cannot be trusted in any way, shape, or form to conduct this investigation. Joe, would you trust Gabriel Sterling to conduct the investigation?
Not a chance. Not a chance. No. How could you? How could you? And here's the problem, is that people don't realize is that people are coming together and they're conspiring together in order to steal the American voice. And these people don't have a problem with it. Like, they don't see anything wrong with what they're doing. They don't see anything wrong with it. To them, they're like, what? We're trying to protect the American way of life. For us, the communist way of life.
Yeah.
Not realizing that taking away the voice of the American people is by definition the most un-American thing that you can do. And that's what they're doing. They're conspiring against you, the American, to mean that, hey, write the check to the government. Taxes are going to go up. Biden is going to start giving money to foreign interests, and just get used to it.
Yeah. So we're going to keep doing a deeper dive. We're going to go into who exactly this Ralph Jones guy, red shirt from the night before. But before we do, I have to remind everyone, if you like the show, please make sure that you subscribe on YouTube, hit the bell for notifications. On Facebook, make sure you like and follow the page. There's links in the description to subscribe to the audio podcast. Please do that as well. It really helps us as we work to get sponsors. And also, if you like the show, Mr. Producer, put up the picture of the T-shirt. We have these T-shirts available. They can still get to you in time for Christmas. Come and Take It Christmas, modeled after the Texas battle flag. When the Texas revolutionaries were going up against the Mexican army, and Mexican army said, "Give us your cannons." The Texans said, "Come and take them," modeled after the Spartans at Thermopylae. But instead of a cannon, this T-shirt has a Christmas tree because they are coming for Christmas. Make no mistake, they want it canceled. They want to make it a crime to celebrate the birth of Christ. So check out the link in the description. Pick up one of your Come and Take It Christmas T-shirts. Support the channel and show the Anthony Fauci's of the world that you will not be silenced. So
I want to go through something really quick so that you guys can see something. And Max, this is throwing like a little monkey wrench in it, but it has to do with the tabulation machines. Now, Josh, I just sent you a picture, and put up the first one, please.
We only have a little bit. We only have a couple bit of Ralph Jones, and then I have Eric Coomer set to go for you.
Yeah. All right. So listen, this, by the way, is a picture of tabulation machines, ballot machines, that are being sold on eBay, that have been refurbished, and these are sold to government agencies. And there's an agent that actually, this is called WA Surplus Inc., sells them. And go to the next one, please. This is a picture of a description of the actual system that shows that it's a Dominion. What does that say?
BCYTL.
Yeah, so it's another company, right? Those are two separate companies, right? But now it's saying that this is a Dominion and a Cytel machine, right? Now I'm gonna tell you some of the information we've been able to dig into that is going to scare you, and that is the person that actually runs this company and his connection to election officials for absentee ballots in other states. True story. So we have a concerted effort where they're literally just putting family members and creating almost like a mob, putting people in positions of power and trust and authority in every state. Wait till you hear about it. This will probably be tomorrow or the next day when we have all the information. I've been able to fully seed everything. But that is very relevant because there are computers that they're buying from a secondhand shop that refurbishes them that they're selling into places all over the country.
So they're not even straight from the manufacturer. These are from some other refurbisher who could do whatever they want.
Whatever they want.
They could input anything.
Yep, and there's no chain of custody on the machine, no chain of custody in making sure that that there's no back doors or ways to actually get into the machine. No, they're just trusted that they're refurbished. And this is the problem with letting 3 voting companies actually run our elections, one of the biggest, 28 states, 40 states that they're in, 28 states nearly fully, like Dominion, that is headquartered in Canada and on the same floor as George Soros's nonprofit. Coincidentally, it just happened that way.
Yeah, it just so happens.
With someone who is has a very, very big vested interest in Dominion, and that I've been able to find out, which I know we're going to go back to this guy, Eric Coomer, that I've been able to find out just amazing amounts of information. I'm still wondering why the DOJ and the FBI can send 12, 15 people into Bubba's race thing over a noose. They can send
Pull down.
They can send 12 FBI agents in SWAT vehicles to a 68-year-old man's house, Roger Stone, right, to arrest him in a huge show of power. And they can't do anything for Eric Coomer, who is sitting and just, I don't know, hiding right now. And they can do nothing about it based on the fact that the guy is anti-American, Antifa. And look, I just found out financial ties to different shell corporations, things like that. I use data in order to do it.
Don't forget, they also sent armed officers to Brian Kolfage's house, the leader, the guy behind We Build the Wall. He's confined to a wheelchair.
Yeah.
So they had armed guards going to get him. I think, Joe, what we need to do is we need to go to Home Depot, get some garage pull-down ropes, and start leaving them over the voting machines. Then we might be able to get the FBI's attention.
Yeah.
If we have some garage pull-down ropes.
You want to know something even worse?
We'll give that to Josh. That's your homework assignment, Josh.
We have people that literally have signed up to watch Antifa and our revolution down in Colorado Springs, right? We have a video that I'm going to play later on this week. I'm going to give them an opportunity to take down all their crap. But Antifa in Colorado Springs literally went out and spray painted a park with anti-Semitic, racist, homophobic slurs, right? And then the person that actually runs Antifa comes out and says, look at this stuff, this Nazi stuff that they put all over this park. We have video of them doing it. And we have people that were in conversations that listened to them talk about how they needed to flame the fire of racism. There's not enough of it around. This is how sick these people are, people. This is how sick they are. We are, I mean, look.
Joe's fired up.
I am fired up.
Well, I had this all teed up for you once we got through Georgia to go over.
Well, let's go through Georgia first. Let's
we got to finish.
Or Ralph.
No, not Frankie. Ralph. Ralph Jones.
Ralph.
We got to finish up with him because he's that guy in the red shirt who was calling the shots. Put up image 11. This is Ralph Jones' LinkedIn profile. He's the registration chief at Fulton County Government. So he has no expectation of privacy. He is a government official observed in a official capacity on camera. So he has no expectation of privacy whatsoever. Yeah. And we know that there's a lot going on between him, Ralph, and Ruby. Let's put up image 12. There's lots of videos and lots of pictures of just them all communicating with each other. Yeah. And I like this one. Let's put up image 13. This is making the rounds on social media, just doing facial analysis of them to confirm that that's who they are, just in case my little deep dive investigative journalistic approach doesn't convince you. This is the facial recognition part of it. So yes, that is who they are. Ruby Freeman, Shane Moss, Ralph Jones.
Well, and he has a really interesting past.
He does. And I actually have that. Go ahead and put up my screen, Mr. Producer. Really interesting past in that back in 2018, the Atlanta mayor's campaign paid him a stipend or whatever, a fee to help with their campaign while he was a registered election official. So he was in his official capacity as in charge of part of the elections process. He was also being paid by the mayor. I believe, what was it? It was $3,600. The mayor paid his consulting firm, R.J. Mays Consulting, who's registered to Ralph Jones Sr., who also happens to be the registration chief of the county's election department. So we literally have, you say, oh, $3,600, what does it matter? Well, obviously it mattered to the campaign. It mattered to him. It mattered enough to him. Just because it's $3,600 doesn't mean that isn't his price, right? Most people have a price where you show them money. I mean, I like to think I don't, but everyone has a price. You show them enough money, they start thinking, oh, well, maybe. Apparently, his price is $3,600. That's not a dig on him. That's just his price. He was election official in Fulton County, being paid by the mayor to assist with her campaign, while he's also supposed to be running a fair election. So I bring that in because it doesn't necessarily prove what happened here, but it proves a pattern of this guy doing some real shady stuff, illegal stuff, right? Profiting from his official position.
Here's the problem. Democrats have just deny. Then the fact checkers come behind it and say, look, they denied it, so it's not true. And then the big tech companies come out there and say, hey, we're going to suppress your voice. We only want to hear the fact that they denied it. Then you have things like media companies that say, ooh, we really want to get rid of them because it gets rid of all of our entitlements. So we're going to deny, and we're going to suppress that as well. We have a concerted effort to steal America from you. And I got to tell you something, Max. I'm not going to tell you what's going to happen, but if we don't get this right, if we don't actually reverse what's happening in Georgia and have all of this proof come forward and have these people arrested, no, it's not going to be safe for a lot of people. And that guy getting up on the thing saying people are going to get killed, he's right. And I'm not telling you what's going to happen. I'm just going to tell you that there are 74 million people that actually did vote, at least 74 million that did vote for President Trump. 74 million. And you want to tell me that 5% of that 74 million aren't going to lose their crap and hold everyone accountable? And then you have the other part. You have the part where they actually went in and took votes for the military and they basically just discarded them. That's a big deal. These people are fighting for this country. And you took their ballots and threw it away. And they're not allowed to speak up, but they will.
Oh, wasn't it Fulton County where apparently every military ballot ended up being for Biden?
Yeah.
Like, does anyone seriously think that? Every single person in the military who votes out of Fulton County, Georgia. And I get it. Atlanta is a very blue area. I get that. But the idea of every single person in the military who, when you join the military, it automatically kind of means you skew a little bit farther right than the Antifa types.
Right.
Right? We're supposed to believe that 100% of the military ballots went for Biden?
Yeah.
Come on. Come on. No, it doesn't pass the smell test. And I'm waiting for a judge to look at it and say, no, that's impossible, right? Because at some point, statistical analysis, expert testimony is admissible in court.
100%.
You can use that towards meeting a standard of evidence, standard of proof, right? I'm waiting for a judge to say, yeah, no, there's no way 100% of the ballots in Fulton County went to Biden. There's just, for the military, there's just no way. But up to this point, we haven't seen a judge willing to do that. That's the real challenge.
Yeah, well, I'm going to tell you something. People are pissed off. When you start thinking about just the concept behind what happened, that people went and they voted for the president of the United States. They went and voted for their senators. There was a red wave across this country that hasn't been seen in decades, right? A red wave. And yet they came in and they're like, we just need to stop Trump. Let's just do that, stop Trump. Yeah. Now, I believe it happened down ticket in Georgia. I believe that they actually did this to the Senate race. I don't believe that Senate race was anywhere near as close as they said it was. I don't believe it, right? But as you start looking at this, that means all the time, effort, the diligence that people went through in order to make a decision on who they voted for president, people just walked over and said, you don't matter. I just want you to know, if you're listening to this podcast, you don't matter. You're not an American.
According
you
to
now
them.
are a part of, according to them, that they need to make the decision for you. Much like what these Democrat leaders are doing to different states where they shut down small businesses. When is it? I can tell you there's a breaking point that will happen with the people in this country. And it's happening right now. But when that point happens, those leaders, those people like governors, they're not going to be safe. And no amount of protection is going to be out there is going to be sufficient for the mob mentality that is getting ready to take root in some of these communities. I mean, Governor Newsom is, they just basically, the court just ruled against Governor Newsom, by the way, and said that, hey, you need scientific proof of why you're shutting down restaurants. And they can't come up with it.
Yeah.
They can't come up with it. But in other states, this oppression that's happening against people, it's an effort to just kind of destabilize the community. You're only going to be able to go work for the government or for large corporations. That's the definition of state-sponsored. That's the definition of communism right there. And your voice doesn't matter. Yeah. How do you feel about that?
No, it's really incredible. And Mr. Producer, I'll have you put up my screen while you mention Gavin Newsom. We found this over the weekend. I find this hilarious. From Errol Weber. He says a blue whale's anus can stretch up to 3.5 feet, making it the second largest asshole next to California Governor Gavin Newsom.
Yeah.
Found that really, I chuckled. We posted that. People on our Facebook page got a laugh out of that. But you're absolutely right. Let's go ahead and put up my screen again. Brian Kemp, Georgia's governor, and lieutenant governor announced they will not call a special session of the legislature over this election fraud.
Why?
And they basically claim that it is illegal under state law and illegal under federal law. But the Constitution states that it is up to the legislature to decide. So the legislature might have ceded that power to the executive branch to run the elections, Secretary of State's office, but that doesn't mean that the Constitution is voided. And there are multiple times in our history where the legislatures decide to send an alternate slate of candidates. As we mentioned, this happened in 1876, and we were teetering on the brink of a second civil war as a result. But it happened because they found fraud, they couldn't trust the results, and the legislatures in Florida, Louisiana, South Carolina refused to certify, dragging the Democrat below the amount he needed on the Electoral College and sending it to Congress. So it is completely constitutional. But as we're seeing, Brian Kemp, Lieutenant Governor Geoff Duncan, won't do a special session.
This is the problem with the Republican Party, though. The Republican Party is rife with people who are actually Democrats that want to wear the name as Republican, and they're doing the bidding. They are literally the Trojan horses within our country. And this is this just tells you just how bad politics have gotten, how weak these people in politics have gotten, because they don't stand up for the people. They stand up for themselves. How do I stay in a position of power and authority? That's what they're doing. Weak.
Yeah.
Weak.
And we covered this last week, that after this video from Georgia, from Fulton County, from State Farm Arena came out, Kemp said he wanted a signature audit. Well, it's easy for him to say that because he doesn't have the authority to demand a signature audit. Well, I mean, he does if he was to use his emergency powers and say that this is a too big of a deal not to happen, but he won't do that either, right? So he'll say just what he needs to say to appear conservative. But like we see so many times with Republicans, they will talk the talk, but they get terrified when it comes time to walking the walk. It's the same reason that we're still waiting for that old John Boehner promise to repeal Obama's amnesty executive order. Right? We're still waiting. We're still waiting on Republicans to make good on any of the promises. They'll say what they need to get elected, as you said, but they won't actually follow through. It's depressing as hell because we have to break out of this. We can't just keep voting Republican. So we can't afford to have a Democrat in office, right? Which is why if you're in Georgia, you have to go out and vote for the Republican senators. But they're not my first choices for senators by a long shot. Right? Not by a long shot. So we have to defeat these people in the primary stage. We have to. We have to treat primary elections, get out the vote efforts, just like the Tea Party did. We have to get them out of office in the primary so we don't have to have the option of a Democrat or a spineless Republican come November. Well, so we're going to have to fight like hell to do that.
Yeah, it's even more than that. I mean, look, we have to, the day that the election stopped, we're going to fight this. Trump is actually going to win. I'm telling you right now, Trump is going to win. There's lots of momentum in nearly every state. Arizona, the FBI just raided. They found a school bus filled with ballots. I don't know if you saw that, but they literally found a school bus that had blacked out windows with Nevada plates that was going down the road that was filled with ballots.
Well, they have to do something with them. They're not allowed to put kids in the school buses anymore.
But my point is that you have what's happening in Wisconsin. You have the deal that's coming in Pennsylvania. You have Judge Alito that has literally said that he needs to speed up the process for the court case to
Pennsylvania
actually
lawsuit.
Yeah. So you have Michigan, which is not even close to being done. Right. You have, there's just lots of different states. Virginia. Look, they're trying to do an audit of the machines in Virginia. Colorado. Ken Buck.
Michigan, they're trying to erase all the machines. They're saying, okay, it's time to erase them all.
Well, why? Let me ask all of you listening here right now. If there's nothing to hide, do an audit.
Yeah.
Why not? Why not just do an audit?
If you were to really take this from an ethical perspective, which we know the Democrats won't do, you have the concept of spoliation of evidence, which is if you anticipate a legal challenge, you're not allowed to just destroy the evidence, right? Lots of people think spoliation of evidence only comes into play if there's an actual case filed. That isn't necessarily the case. If you think that there's a case coming, you can still be held accountable for destroying evidence preemptively. We know that in Michigan, the Trump campaign is being allowed to audit machines, what's it called, Antrim County?
Yeah.
So the Trump campaign has access to those machines. If they uncover fraud, a reasonable person can believe that the judge would extend that order statewide, right? If they find it in that one county, you can reasonably believe that probe would expand. So to see the Secretary of State in Michigan wanting to preemptively get out in front of that and wipe the machines clean, knowing that there's an active forensic audit taking place in one county, it's absolutely fraudulent, right? If you tried to do this with the IRS or with any government agency, you would be held in contempt of court for destroying your evidence, right? And they would be able to presume that you did it because you're guilty. That's what spoliation of evidence is all about. If you destroy evidence, they're allowed to presume that you did it to hide something. So it's stunning what they're getting away with, but I am still hopeful. The bad news is we are against a hard deadline, right? This week, tomorrow, the day after, that is the hard deadline to guarantee that a slate of electors from the Electoral College will reach Congress in time to be certified. They can still happen later, right? But once the 8th and the 9th come around, Congress can at any time decide to certify. So we're up against a hard break, a hard deadline. I'm hopeful, but things have to start happening. When you hear Trump saying you're going to be really surprised in a couple of weeks, we don't have a couple of weeks. The Electoral College meets on the 14th. That's 7 days away. Yeah, 7 days away from now. So when Trump says you're really going to be surprised what you learn in 2 weeks from now, which he keeps saying, we don't have 2 weeks. We have at max 7 days.
No, we have 7 days for one part of it, but I think that's why they're moving up the schedule for the Pennsylvania. There are ways to actually stop all of this stuff from happening, right? There are. I mean, there's plenty of gates that are happening right now.
But once the Electoral College votes, it's settled.
No, it's not.
There's no provision in the Constitution to allow anyone to go in and undo an Electoral College vote. That's why the fight has to be right now. Well,
74 million people.
That's a much more. That's the 4 different boxes. That's the soap box. That's the ballot box. That's the jury box. That's the cartridge box. Right. The 4 boxes of preserving freedom. You're talking about that 4th box.
I am.
I'm hoping that we never get to that point.
We're already there.
Yeah, it's unfortunate.
No, I'm going to call it what it is. We're already there. This is the hill worth dying on. And look, I just had a conversation. I was sitting down with the guys that watch my family, and they're like, "Hey, Joe, here's what we didn't tell you." And I'm like, "Oh, that's great. I didn't know about that. I didn't know if I wanted to know about that." And he's sitting down next to me right now, going, "We didn't want to tell you," because I said to them, "Whatever happens, happens. I'm not going to stop talking. People like me, people that have courage. There's lots of people listening that have courage. We're going to continue to stand up. We don't care what the consequences are. Someone will pick up right after you shoot one of us. Someone else will step in that spot. We are not giving up our country." And another thing is, Max, today marks a very, very somber day in our country's history. Today was the attack on Pearl Harbor. That symbol by itself has to mean something. Like we made somebody pay. We went after them because they attacked us. There's no difference in them attacking us in Pearl Harbor and what they're trying to do now. One was to make us submit to them, submit to their communist society, to their communist ways. And then here we are today having it on the inside now. Now we have not a foreign person like they did back in 1941, but we have a domestic terrorist. We have Antifa. We have communism. We have socialism. I'm going to tell you right now, the fight starts. The fight started the day that the election ballot was closed and they were cheating. We're going to go after that, but we have to literally just nonstop go after the left from this point on. We have to root out communist professors, get them completely out of the schools, run them off, run them completely off. So, do we have some stuff you want to put up about Eric Coomer?
Yeah, we have a little bit. Just the old stuff. Do you want to do that now, or do you want to do a full episode on it tomorrow?
I'd love to do a full episode because I want to be able to put it all together. I want you guys to understand that Eric Coomer is actually the linchpin, and there's so much more stuff that I have, right? And if I'm not over the target, why is the Antifa in Colorado? Why are they going, "Oh, Joe's attacking this guy. He's attacking this guy for no reason. This employee." He's not an employee. He's a shareholder. He holds all the patents, all of them. And he assigned them to Dominion. He has foreign bank accounts. It's true. Those are all true statements.
I think instead of trying to ram this in the last 30 seconds of the podcast today, I think we should do a full episode tomorrow. I think that'd be best. So we're going to get together. We're going to get everything set up and ready to go tomorrow. So make sure you tune in for that. We'll be talking about Eric Coomer, bringing you some new information and rehashing, kind of explaining how we got to this point as well. Well, that's going to be it for this edition of the podcast.
What?
If this is your first time watching,
hold on, before you close.
I thought that
out,
was your final word.
My final word is this: we got a caller. A caller. All right, we don't have a caller yet. Okay, get the music down for a minute. All right, listen. While you're listening here, I want you to do a couple things for me. Right, number one. We only get to a place where we can actually go after Antifa and go after these anti-American people that are trying to destroy our country if we all stand up and we all have a voice. You just got to talk. You got to be out there talking. You got to participate. We are going to have on Wednesday, we're trying to see what we can do in Colorado for Wednesday. It's really tough to get all these organizations to work together, but there's an event happening in Washington, D.C. on the 12th. Right? I think it's next Saturday, right? Is that right, Max?
I don't know.
That's right. Anyway, it's a huge event in Washington, D.C. next Saturday. I'm going to be there. I'd like to see as many of you there as possible. But I'm going to fly into Washington, D.C., and I'm going to be a part of that event there. But I want to tell you that, listen, we have to do everything we can from this day forward. We have to literally wake up, go to work, do our work, and then devote even more hours to protecting our republic. That has to happen. Like, you're the answer. You want to know what's going to happen? You want to know, you're like, well, what do I do? Stand up, get involved. You don't have to just follow. There's lots of people like me, or be the one to lead people, right? And hold people accountable. Get 5,000 people together and go surround maybe don't surround it. The governor's mansion.
I'm going to let you just keep talking.
I'm done.
I wouldn't say surround it, but
maybe not surround it.
That was safe. That was safe enough.
Yeah.
Well, that's going to be it for this edition of the Conservative Daily Podcast. If this is your first time watching, we have a lot of people watching on YouTube. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. You hit the bell for notifications. We go live Monday through Saturday, 2 p.m. Eastern. So make sure you do that. Also on Facebook, make sure you like and follow the page as well.
He also has a picture of me with my full beard, and it was on election day. So there you go.
Oh, no, I'm talking about
that was me
3
and my full
years
beard.
ago.
That was in 2018.
No, I'll dig up a weirder picture.
You better not.
I'll dig one up.
Not if you like what you do.
I'll dig one up with you in your motorcycle helmet.
No.
Or you at one of the Steelers games. One of the Steelers games. There were some weird beards there.
Yeah. No. See, this is me telling people I voted. This is in 2018. That was a big beard.
I'll find a weirder one.
You better.
Well, that's going to be it for this edition of the podcast. Again, if you like it, make sure you like and follow our Facebook page, subscribe, hit the bell for notification on YouTube. Lots of people asking why they didn't get alerts from Facebook or YouTube. That's because they're run by communists and they don't want people to know when we're live. So if you text freedom to 89517, you'll get a text alert when we go live. Or today, apparently, you'll get 3. So I hope you don't pay by the text. Most people don't anymore, but I promise we won't send 3. Again, that must have been a glitch. Also, there's a link in the description to join our email newsletter. That's an important way to stay connected. We're also, make sure you download subscribe and download the audio version of the podcast. We're available on Apple Podcasts. We're available on Google Play Store, Spotify, Pandora, iHeartRadio, TuneIn, and Podbean. Really, really important as we try to get sponsors for the show. Really helps us be able to bring in solid numbers to get those sponsors. So again, that's going to be it for this edition of the podcast. Oh, remember, if you like the show, pick up one of our Come and Take a Christmas T-shirts. You can still get it in time for Christmas. Make sure you pick it up and tell the Anthony Faucis of the world that you will not bow down to their demands, and you'll be celebrating Christmas no matter what. So that's going to be it for this edition of the podcast. Again, my name is Max McGuire.
And this is Joe Altman.
Remember that the fight to take back our country clearly is not over, but the only way we win is if we all stand and fight together.